Well. Hello, my sisters and brothers CNCers. I see you all been chatting for a little while. And oh, Jack. Oops. What a great Wednesday evening here in Indiana, where I get to talk to you and our other brothers and sisters CNCers. And tonight we are going to talk a little bit about CNC business. And we are going to be talking about something I see a little more than I care to see in some of the Facebook groups. And we're going to talk about the economy and how that is a mindset thing that we want to not focus on. So I'm going to dive into that. Just going to spend a little minute to say hello to those who are able to chat at the moment. So I can see we got Oz and Jack and Custom Woodworking, JDNL. There's Jeff. Hi, Jeff. And Don. And sound good. That's because I've got my $300 microphone hanging in front of me. Better sound good. And I got another $300 headset right here. Figure I'm going to learn to start going for the best instead of going for the lower price stuff. So hello, Hunter. So we got some coming in from, hi, Greg. Got some coming in from YouTube and some from Facebook. So I'm still learning StreamYard, this service that's letting me communicate with you as to how many people can comment and interact with me on this. So Lawrence from Brooklyn, hello. Brooklyn, New York. I used to live near your neck of the woods. I grew up in northern New Jersey, so Manhattan was my stopping ground when I became legal to chug a few. And of course, the Greenwich Village. That was a lot of fun, very interesting. The Village was one of my favorite places, very memorable. We got Tennessee. It says Facebook user from Knoxville, Tennessee, and Alaska. Oh my gosh, from everywhere. I love this. This is why I love the online space, because it broadens our world in so many ways. It allows us to communicate. CNCers, we can gather in Facebook, and we can gather on cool little events like what I'm putting on here, and there are no boundaries except Russia, of course, right? Can't communicate with them. Minnesota. Oh boy, Minnesota. That just reminded me of when we were young. Dad took us up there, and we outfitted in the Boundary Waters for 2 weeks. That was a lot of fun. How do I caption Facebook user? Well, you're in California. Okay. North Carolina. Oh, I'm going to be in North Carolina in a couple of weeks, Jack. So make sure you send me an email. By the way, before I move forward with this, I want to let you know there will not be a live next week. On the 30th, I am flying up to Vancouver, and I am going to be at a business summit. So I will not be engaging in emails, although I do have someone that's going to be handling my emails while I am there. And any shipments, if you want router bits, please put your orders in tonight, because tomorrow is the last day we're going out until the 6th. I will be returning on the 5th and on the 6th, and then the Monday after that I will be driving down to North Carolina to pick up my Phantom CNC. So I'm going to be meeting the guys that run that shop. It's Steve, who owns the company. I'm going to try to connect with Izzy Swan, if you've seen him on YouTube. He likes to make contraptions with drills. Oh, we got Hawaii. Awesome, Justin. I didn't realize you were from Hawaii, Justin. So my brother lives on the Big Island. I've been there 5 times now, and about every 3 years. So it looks like this upcoming summer I'll have to go visit again. You'll know about it. Ontario. Yeah, Swan is definitely cool. So I'm hoping to connect with him and, of course, shoot some video with him. So, okay. So I want to dive into this thing that I see occasionally from our CNC brothers and sisters, where they mention things about the economy and the struggle of the economy impacts their CNC business. And and I want to try to help you if anyone who's watching right now is thinking that the economy is a major impact. The economy may have some effect, but the if we allow ourselves to think that the economy is going to impact our business, that the economy is causing everything to slow down, that the economy does this, the economy does that, then there's what that does is that creates this mental framework inside of our head, and when what we believe we act on, right? So if we feel that the economy is going down, that makes us get tight on money, and people aren't buying, and it actually causes us not to try as hard. It creates a negative thing. This whole conversation that I'm going to be going into here is one of the things. If you want to get into a CNC business, or in one, and you're struggling, or it's been growing and then it's stalled, that this is going to go into a very different space about CNC business, because all successful 100% does not start with the economy. It does not start with the condition of the economy. It does not start with anything out there. It all starts with the philosophy and the way we believe in here. I'll start this off in this way. When I see people, the posts on occasion about the economy, I look at it and I say, I don't even see a bad economy. I don't subject myself to anything that would put into my mind that there's a problem. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in 10 years. I'm going to tell you this little story. About 10 years ago, I made a decision to stop watching the news because there's not much happy news going on out in give me the newsland. I stopped except NPR, right? And so that was good. It's like, oh, good. I'm not hearing any of this negative stuff. And then the Trump elections were happening. And so for a year before Trump was elected, that's all I heard on NPR was Trump, 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 Trump. Now, I don't have a political opinion and I won't express a political opinion. But what I will say is it wasn't happy, good news. And so from that moment on, I cut off NPR and I haven't watched the news since. And if I ever happen to be in a space where the news is playing, I leave because it just drags me down. This goes back to business and mindset and seeing the world as a positive, um, as a positive place, of having abundance inside, and having the determination and drive, and setting in your mind that I am going to succeed. I'm going to make this business work. There are cycles, and every time we there are cycles, right? Just like the seasons, but the cycles start from the inside, right? If we're in a business and we're damn determined to make that business work, and there's nothing that's going to stop you, then then you're going to succeed. And if you're determined that you're not going to let anything knock you down, that instead of looking at parts of your business that isn't working, you want to look at that instead in a positive way. It's not a failure, it's a lesson to learn, right? That something that you're doing isn't working. It's all it is, it's just a result. I've tried this. If you can detach from I'm failing in my business and just say that I am doing this, it's not working. So therefore, either I don't know something that I need to be knowing about to take it to a level where it is working, or just the way and things that you're doing aren't working. You look at it objectively and say, okay, what this didn't work, and you try again, and you try a little different angle, and maybe that doesn't work, and then you try a different angle, maybe that doesn't work. But you're learning along the way as long as you're taking it as lessons in business. This is the law in business. You cannot succeed without finding failure, because failure is giving you the route to get to success. All right. So this is so vital to this is why mentors are so important, because the mentors already went through all that. All right. I think I've told enough people. I have a mentor. Hi Randy. I have a mentor. I pay access to be with my mentor and my group. About well, right now I've paid about $45,000 this year to be a member of a group of business people who have very high level businesses, right? Because I want to get my mindset there. One of the things I always hear is is show me your friends and I'll tell you what your life is. And that didn't make a lot of sense to me at first, but um, if we tend to blend in with the circles that we hang with. And so if we hang in a circle at the level that we're at, wherever that is, we will always stay at that level. We'll fluctuate a little bit. But if you get with people who are above you, I want to be the dumbest person in the room when it comes to learning business, right? Because the only way I can go is up. I kind of got off track because I wanted to talk about this economy thing, but it all comes back into the way we think about it. One of the things that's really important is um, we often we hear what's around us, and what we hear around us will sink into the mind. We can't help it. If we're hanging around people that are constantly negative, we all know that it draws our energy down, right? And it also changes the mindscape. When I say mindscape, it starts to alter the way we think, literally. It can, if you're around negativity long enough, you start to become negative because the, it's kind of getting programmed in your head, for lack of a better word. So if we're paying attention to the news, and the news is constantly saying the economy is struggling and this and that, that's getting burned in. And no matter whether we choose to believe it or not, that we are in that space, and it's subtly getting burned into us, and we start to buy into it and we don't even realize it. So this is one of the things to do that I do in my let's stop, and I'm going to read some of these comments here. The reason I'm bringing this up is because business starts with you and the determination and decision that you're going to succeed at it. I have notes here, so I'm going to refer to them quickly, but I want to get to some of the comments here. If you want to get into a CNC business and you want to do it in a way that, I just want to make a few bucks, right? I just want to get a little side income. Well, then that's all you're going to get is a little side income. If that's all you want, then that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just if you want to start a business, let's talk about a mindset thing. If you're having trouble with money, or if you didn't save money, and now you're going into retirement and you're worried about your financial future, worrying about money takes up so much mental bandwidth that it stops us from being creative, and the it creates a lot of tension in the body, and it also it slows down the creativity, and it also obscures our ability to see where the opportunities are in the CNC business that we're trying to build. one of the most important things when it comes to business is is understanding that even though you need to start a business to earn income, or maybe you're hating your job and you want out of your job, whatever, you have to it's so important to get out of the dread mode, the I hate my job, or I got to come up with a way to get money, because we're so focused on us, and business has nothing to do with you. Your business has zero to do with you. You have to be in the business of whatever your customer wants. And so if we're challenged with money, if we're letting the economy, bad economy news drive in, that puts us in money challenge, right? Any negative energy or negative thoughts is going to draw your energy down, strip out your creativity, and hold you back from being objective to see what the customer is needing. When I create videos, the videos that have performed well are the ones that I saw customers keep asking, or viewers keep asking, "Will you do a video about inlays? Can you do a video about inlays, or whatever else?" And those videos are the ones that just shoot to the moon, because I'm listening to the audience. The audience is saying, "I want an inlay video." So I had to go out and make sure I understood how to do an inlay and create that video. If I'm making content that I just want to make because I think it's cool, it's not going to go very far. And it's the same thing with CNC business. If you're making things that you think are cool, it doesn't go very far, because you don't you have to see what the audience or what your market wants. You got to start somewhere. You just got to make something and start showing people, and that will generate interest. And what usually happens is you fall into a niche, which is what I talk about all the time. You need to get into a niche just by virtue of starting to make stuff, putting it out there. Um, but at the end of the day, you've got to be you have to pull away from the neediness of getting out of a job you hate, or the neediness of having money. I was helping someone about 8 months ago. I was helping them a little bit in business, and they ended the help. I was doing a little bit of mentoring with them. They ended it because their comment was that they don't buy into the idea of wealth, prosperity, and abundance, which is something that I adhere to. Think wealth, prosperity, and abundance, right? This is all positivity. And that reveals to me what their mindset was, that they were struggling with money. They were going to struggle with their business. I could see it. They weren't going to let go of something that they really wanted to market, that I could not find a market for. So I want to see these comments here a bit. So we're going to pop up a little bit. Yeah. So 2 Elm Builds, you said, people always tell if something is bad enough. The way I interpret that little comment is if there's news that I need to hear, I'll hear about it. Yeah, world news or whatever. Bad news, Jack. Bad news will make it around the world before good news can get its boots on. Absolutely. So many people. One of the people I used to listen to, Wayne Dyer, all the time. One of the things he said was, most people are looking for something to get angry about or complain about. Eddie, watched TV for over 20 years, and you have never felt an economy business comes in as normal. I'm not quite sure I get that comment. You've watched 25 years, and you never felt an economy business comes in as normal. Okay, I don't quite know what you mean by that, so you'll have to stack on that. Tim, yes, I'm correct, but there are issues in the general economy, but the local economy is unaffected. I adjust and adopt, always succeeding. So one of the ways that the economy doesn't, again, I don't see an economy issue. it's not there. I don't see it, right? Because I don't subject myself to it. And the business that I'm running is not being affected by any economic news. It's growing. My focus, right, for IDC, over that shoulder, Woodcraft, is to be the number one CNC router. But that's my goal, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? So anything that would take that away, I won't even address. Now, if there are slowdowns, which it's kind of seasonal, right? In the summertime, people are getting out and doing their gardening or traveling, and the business does slow down. But it just gives me opportunity to reposition a business, which it will also give you opportunity to reposition a business to doing better the next season. I think it's good. I'm glad that these comments are coming in. Tim, you shared, always hang around with people more talented and successful than yourself. Absolutely. People who are more successful, you just draw to it, right? If like, I want to be the dumbest, poorest person in the room in this event that I'm going to, and I will be one of the dumbest and poorest persons in the room. There are going to be multi-billionaires at this little thing that I'm going to, and there are 29 of us in this, and we have 5 multi-billionaires who are going to be spending time with us over the course of 2 days. I want to come back with a completely different mindset when it comes to business, because in order for any business to grow, what got us, or what has gotten you and me to where we're at, will not get us to the next level. In fact, I learned this, interestingly, the hard way and from my mentor. The exact thing that gets our business to where it's at right now will be the hindrance that will get it to the next level. A good example is, right now I am solo most of the time. I've got a couple people that help with emails. Like when I'm going to be out of town, they will be covering my emails, and they'll be covering YouTube comments, because I'm not going to be touching any of that. So I just lost my train of thought in what I was saying. Oh yeah, I'm solo. I'm solopreneur, if you will. I'm doing all the videos. I'm doing the video editing. I'm doing all the shipping. I'm doing all the background accounting, and I have an accountant. But so this stuff, I now, if I can't grow anymore, my plate is full, right? So now I have to start finding people, and so now I have things that I have to fill, and I will let the community know of some of these things as I move along. So if I can find the right people to do the right things, then that I need to get done, then we'll start working on that. Let's go to the next one. Fun and games. You inspired me to buy a CNC machine. Welcome to the most amazing community on the planet. This huge community of CNC creators is so giving, right? And here's why. Here's why. Is because, number one, is part of in our nature to be giving. This idea of creating things, when you come up with the idea in your mind, and then you can design it out on the computer, and then you watch that machine carve it out, and that we at a certain level, we get each other, right? And so you have stepped into an amazing world, and I'm glad that I've been part of that inspiration. And as you get to know people in this community, it's going to blow you away. Everybody wants to help. And they're willing to share too. They're willing to share their designs, their skills, their challenges, and how to make your creating a lot better. I will say, make sure you just learn in the proper flow. Please don't take yourself beyond where you need to go. Jack asked if fun and games, are you selling things yet? All right, so Hunter, How long after I get the Phantom CNC do I think I will make a review? Been looking at them, but I've not seen a lot of info on them. Phantom is a relatively new company and machine. They've been in what's the word, development for a while. They're in the market now, and quite a few of them are in the market. So I will get it in 2 weeks. I'll be driving down to North Carolina to pick it up and then bring it back here. And then I have to get an electrician to wire up the shop and then start playing with it a little bit. So it'll be a couple months before I do a review on the Phantom. I would expect probably not until January, but I'll try to do something sooner than that because that is going to be my focus. I will be shifting to that machine and not so much on the bench tops. Two Elms. My mom always told me, you become like the books you read and the people you hang out with. Such a true word. Uh, Such a true word. Yeah, mom said a good, she shared a good little wives' tale that's not a wives' tale. Eddie, your mother told you that as a child, tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. Okay, so what you guys are sharing right now is key statements. Our business will be as successful as number one, we determine that it's going to be in the beginning. And number two, if we're willing to be learners. Many people, here's the thought, here's the idea. You go to school, go to college, get your education, we're done learning, then we get in the workforce and we don't keep learning. The successful people and the more successful they get are the ones that are always learning. And it's hard to learn how to start learning again. I had to go through that. And now I am a learner. But if what the reason I'm saying this is if you're trying to get in a business and you've never started a business before, and you're trying to do a CNC business, you're working your butt off, you're at your machine constantly, you're putting stuff out there on Etsy and what have you, and it's not going anywhere, it's not so much because of what you're doing, but how you're doing it. You're operating from an idea that doesn't work when it comes to business, right? And so if you've heard me say it before, you may have heard it elsewhere, you don't know what you don't know. And so you have to be a learner. You have to get back into the books and read the books, find a mentor, go ask people who have succeeded in business and ask them, what do I do? And then start doing what they tell you to do. For me, it was really hard to learn to do things that my mentor was telling me to do because it was so outside of my zone of understanding and comfort that it actually I was held back until I started to crack that nut. And that nut it's all ego. I don't need a guy that's 20 years younger than me telling me what to do. What's he know? Right? My mentor's 20 years younger than me. But it's changing my game. Let's see what else we got. Florence, it's all the mind. You started your construction business years ago. Now you're adding a CNC business, which you know nothing about, but with a little attitude, it will work. Beautiful, beautiful statement. Okay. If you don't have to know how to make it work, right? You just have to know you're going to do it, and then you figure out how to make it work along the way. To really want to have a successful business, you can't be risk averse. Business is risk, period. I want to share a story with you real quick. Is when IDC officially got started, when I first putting product out on the market, it was February of 2021. I'd been running the YouTube channel for about, October, November, December, January. So 4 months. I had quit work a couple of years beforehand, and I knew I was never going back. All right, so I'm 60 now, so I quit work at 57, I think, and I burnt the bridge mentally, emotionally. I wasn't going back, and but I didn't know what I was going to do. I mentioned this before, but what I didn't tell you is I started to do the videos, and in January, okay, I had very little money left. I was even burning through my 401. I didn't care. That's how determined I was to figure out how to make this thing work. And so in January, I said, I've got to do something now. I saw a need for CNC router bits for starter sets because there wasn't a lot of clarity out there. So I invested $6,000 in starter sets. If that month did not work, in March, I was on the street. I had no money left. That's how much risk I was willing to take in order to make this work. So, so what you shared is it's in the mind. Business is all in the mind. Your business success always starts in the mind. And when things get tough, that's when you turn to people because you do have trouble. You do run into struggles. And but you have to have that drive of I'm going to keep going until I figure it out. It's like learning how to walk or learning martial arts, learning how to drive, and then learning how to become a race car driver, and then learning how to be a pilot. Yeah, you're always learning how to advance yourself in your business. So, Terrence, that was an excellent comment. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Doug. Jack, fun and games. Jack, you are awesome. Yes, Jack is awesome. Jack sent me one of the coolest things. I get things in the mail on occasion from my CNC brothers and sisters, and Jack sent me this really really cool thing. I did have it on my table here, but I moved in the other room because my grandkids are here, and sometimes they get a little crazy, so I had to get it out of the way. Mr. Zuri, thank you much for the wisdom, longtime follower, and finally bought your first long mill and super excited. Yay. Yes. Yes. Be patient as you learn. Learn progressively, learn your design work first, and don't dive in to try to cut good wood, right? Practice on MDF or foam or something like that, and just learn. Otherwise, it's going to turn into a train wreck, and you won't understand why. Fun and games is asking from Jack for his info. Jack, you have some videos. Search Jack in the Shop on YouTube after this stream. So Jack in the Shop on YouTube. Jack has converted a CNC router into a plasma cutter. I think I've already said that. And he cuts things on, he cuts handsaws and cuts details in them. So they're very, very cool. Garrett has more than one though. Okay. So Don, many small businesses are starting during slow times. Mine included 34 years ago. It's all about attitude. So if you're struggling, anyone, if you're challenged with the business thing, right? What you're seeing already is a common thread in some of these comments. It's all in the attitude. It's not going to be easy. Business is not easy, but the right attitude says it doesn't matter how hard it is. One of the things with business, we get in a business, and there's one reason to get in business, and that is to earn a profit, to grow your business. Behind that is to make a difference in other people's lives. And you should build your business foundation based. The most successful businesses are the ones that build their foundation based on giving value to other people, giving them what they want to get them to the next level. My business foundation is not CNC router bits. It's not teaching CNC routers. The foundation is helping those people who are searching for something that they can call their own and give them the tools and the resources and the knowledge so that they can do something. And it just happens to be CNC that I've landed on, that my inner passion can be channeled through to give people that kind of drive or that incentive and inspiration to find this if that's what they want to do. Lazio said attitude is everything. Seeing how your customers appreciate your work creates positive feedback loop, and that you can continue to build and should. Okay. Yeah. So the biggest thing about business is you want to give a good product, right? But what's more important is not so much the product, but that customer of yours feels valued, and you can only give them or make them feel as much value as you feel about yourself. If you don't feel you have much value, hence the economy is sucks, and I don't have enough money, and you're kind of pissy and moany, you're not going to do well in business because that energy reflects out and they feel it. Attitude is everything. Here's how I start. One of the other things is goals, right? So we talked about a decision. You got to have you just got to make the decision that you're not going to quit. And then the grit, right? The grit. You can't quit. You have to drive. When it gets hard or you fail, you have to work through it and be able to look at it and say, what did I do wrong? What don't I know? Who knows what I need to know? Right. That's why I'm going to be starting this CNC business group where I'll work with groups of people. The other thing is goals. You got to have business goals. If you just want to start a business and you don't have an objective that you can aim towards, then your business isn't going to go anywhere. Because when I say objective, a goal is I want to start a woodworking business. I want it to a CNC business. I want it to hit 50K per year by X date, and then you write that goal down every single day. It took me a long time to learn to do that, to write down my goals, every single day. I've got 4 goals, 4 core goals. One is for the IDC Woodcraft, which my camera is looking is mirrored, so it's got me messed up here. That relationship, the home I want to live in, I want to move up by the grandkids, and then of course health. But you really need to write down your business goal and what you want to achieve financially, and also, but what's more important is what do you want out of that? When we are focused on money, money is just a thing. Because if money is a transfer, it's an engine of the economy, and it has to be a transfer. If we are in a position of I don't have enough, or we try to hoard it, and we're not allowing that to flow through our own economy, then we are we're bottlenecking ourselves for our own growth, right? So you want to have that financial goal and be willing to do what it takes to achieve that goal. So create a goal, right? Get out of the economy thing. If you keep hearing the economy is bad, get out of that. You got to get out of that mindset. If you watch the news all the time and you're watching negative stuff, personally, it's not good, right? It's not good for my spiritual self, right? So I don't even pay attention to it. I don't want it. I've been living fine without it. And if I need to hear any news, I will hear it if it's that important. So goals are so important, and learning how to write them every day and be very consistent. And because you want to, when your business is going to work is when you not only make the decision, but it's emotional. It's an emotionally driven decision. I got to scoot down this list a little bit. Fun and games, Mr. Garrett is my CNC hero for a while. Good. I'm glad it's only for a while, because you're going to get to a level and you'll find another hero that's going to take you somewhere. But thank you for the compliment. Okay, so Jeff has said, I'm finding that getting face to face with potential buyers is having more success than doubling down online potential sales, as well as figuring uh, out a good wholesale price where you can make money with local businesses. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. So this is a good thing. One of the thing with business is you want to build rapport with people, and the best way you can build rapport is by being face to face with them. The foundation, if Jeff, you're growing on this, then what you're doing is you are engaging with them in a way that's making them feel good and valued, and they are seeing the value in whatever you're doing that will help them. All right. People are only in things ultimately to help themselves. And so our job is to value that. And it circles back around to this attitude thing. If we're complaining about the economy, if we're bitching about the politics and all that stuff that's going on out there that we have no control over, we're giving our positive energy away, right? So my whole philosophy: if I don't have control over it, I don't even think about it. I don't even want to let it waste my mental space whatsoever. Two Elms. Sometimes it may feel like the economy is beating you down, but it is just an indication that you need to pivot your business a little bit and maybe tweak or change. Or good point. Or go ask for some guidance from someone who has been down the road, and ask them what they've gone what they've done, and what you should do. Sometimes in business it is prudent to pull back and do what you said, pivot, realign what your business is doing. Maybe the business vision is off. The vision should always be about the customer. And so if the vision of the business is about you, then you're doing everything for your own gain and not the customer's gain, then you're going to struggle. Now, to counter that, we do have our needs, right? We do all want to grow, and we all want to be financially comfortable, and being financially successful is right, right? Wealth, right there. Even the Bible has a parable in it, right? The parable of the talents. The one that didn't that saved, that hoarded the money instead of going out and investing it, was the one that got in trouble. Right. That's just one of the things, and so that's the way I interpret that particular one. Look forward to the new and improved Garrett when I return. So, Jeff, you said looking forward. Dude, right now I am new and improved because I have not so long ago I was I was I had reached this limit. I have not put out as much content in the DIY, right? How to make this, how to do this, and that's because I hit this kind of limit, this glass ceiling, and I actually had to have several conversations with my mentor over that. And I'll share this with you because it's important, because I could not have broken through this without having his help. I knew that if I just talked to him, that he would start to see what was going on. And son of a bitch if he didn't figure it out, right? So I just talked to him, and it had nothing to do with business. It had my issue had nothing to do with my business. It had to do with stories I was telling myself. Something that I think we all deal with when we hit a certain age in life, where we start realizing that our day is going to come. Have we done enough? Have we left our legacy? And then we see things out in the world that remind us of it in some way, shape, or form. I was telling him, when I go to the eye doctors and I see a lot of people who are 20, 30 years older than me, right, walking in on walkers and the bent over backs, and he said, you're focusing on that, which is the story that's going on in your head, that you're seeing a future and you're telling yourself the story already, right? So by pointing that out, and he pointed it out in some other things, uh, it was able to start breaking that glass ceiling. And because when I hit that glass ceiling, it was also drawing my energy down, because if we're not growing, we're going down. There's no like, this is nice and calm. I mean, we might like a little bit of calmness for a little while, but we're not. None of us are happy staying steady on the same path all the time. There's no fulfillment because we're not getting new challenge or new discoveries. I'm going to scroll down the comments. Can I use any software on your CNC? Eddie, you ask, can you use any software on your CNC? So that's a twofold question. So you have design software and you have, we'll take a little left turn here. You have design software and you have your control software. And so most design software can create your designs, but design software doesn't run your CNC machine. Then you have your control software, and that is machine dependent. There are several different platforms based on the control in the machine itself. The one that's open source is Arduino, which is like what UGS control software is based on, or G-Sender, which is what I use. So that's the best thing to do is ask your machine maker what control software and if the design software is going to be compatible with your machine. That's the best thing you can do. Wade, CNC changed your life. I was making a product with scroll saw. You spend just as many hours on your business a week, but it's better time. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing when it comes to business, right? So you already had a business, and now you found that a CNC machine can make it easier and drive your business better, make it more efficient, right? So you're probably, I'm going to guess one of two things. You are either taking advantage of that and augmenting your business to make it grow, or you're shifting your time over into busy work. That's not adding value to your business to make it grow. And this is something a habit I've had, and I've had to break that as well. We get to a financial level and we're comfortable at that level. But if we get over that level, even though it feels good, we pull ourselves back down. We will sabotage. We'll go out and spend. We'll if we go too low, we will pull ourselves back up because that's our financial thermostat. That's where we're comfortable at, right? And so, and we do little things to make that happen. Like we'll dig into busy work, right? This is why I need to get people on board with IDC. Oh, I got it the right way this time. Onto IDC so that I can start focusing on the business growth, right? And I can only help so many people, and when my load gets so high, I don't have the energy to be helping as many people. My number one value is make every single customer feel special. All right, because what I want to do is change your perspective. I want to change your life. I want to give you that CNC machine so that you got something you can call your own and take it from there. So Jeff, being a newbie yourself, you learn from your mistakes. Yeah, a lot of us do that. I think a lot of us can circumvent our mistakes if the more we become coachable and willing to do what those who have been there before us, if we're willing to do what they say, then we won't make as many mistakes. We just have to trust them. And it's happened several times. My mentor has told me, don't do that. And my old me was like, but it's mine. I want to do it. I'm not going to, but I've learned how to say, he knows, right? He's been there. I don't understand it yet, but I'm going to say, okay, I won't do it and let it go. And it's actually kind of refreshing to be able to do that. Let's see. Truth that Jeff LOOO. By the time you got fun and games, you got your issue resolved, you'll have to master many other things along the way. Yeah, just take your time. Take your time, bro. I'm just going to start popping through. During the struggles, you have to remember the successes. It helps. There's somebody that I mentor now, and I've been mentoring since the beginning of the year, maybe just a little bit before the beginning of the year. And when you're growing a business, we're always hitting those glass ceilings, because the only way you can grow your business is by growing your mind, expanding your context. And every time we expand our context, it's very uncomfortable. And that, like I said before, we'll do things to pull ourselves back down into our mental context that we understand when it comes to business. But it's also what you just said here, Hobby Hands. During the struggles, you have to remember your successes. So this person, I said, every time he felt a huge win, I said, write this down exactly how you're feeling. Put it in your journal, right? So when the inevitable when we pull ourselves back down, that negative energy creeps in somewhere in the back and it pulls us back down to our old normal. That's it, and it doesn't feel good. And that's when I say, go read what you wrote in that journal, right? So, and that's because that's at the peak of the success. When you make that first sale, write down exactly what you're feeling, because damn, it feels good. And that's when you know that that's the first huge milestone. Okay. Larry, see, setting short-term goals is more rewarding when it works, and less discouraging. So in the path to the destination may require adjusting customer needs. Yeah. So this is good. So you want to have a huge goal. You want to have. I've always been taught to think as big as I possibly can. So as you know, IDC Woodcraft is the global #1 CNC router business. Period. Right. Reality just hasn't caught up yet. Now I reverse engineer that. What do I have to do to get there? So that creates sub goals. And then I look at those sub goals and I say, which ones are going to be the most influential to make that happen? And then so I look at those 2 or 3, the 80-20 rule, and then I dissect those, reverse engineer those. And now I'm down to this point. Okay, I need a team in place. I need someone to help me with my edit my videos so I can create more content. I need here's one. Okay, here's one right now. I've got the CO2 laser, and I've been taking a little time to study light burn, but I'm thinking this is going to take way too long. So I am going to find one of my CNC brothers or sisters who is damn good with light burn, and I'm going to pay them to crash course me on light burn and this laser to get it going up and going. I am buying speed, right? And I'm willing to pay quite well to make that happen, because it's worth that. It's worth it to me to save that time that it's going to take for me to learn this myself and try to thumb through YouTube videos like we all have to. So if anybody on this list that's in this right now is damn good with light burn and can walk me through it, send me an email. I'm heading out of town, so I'm not going to be responding to that until after I'm back and have my Phantom. But so maybe in the middle of October, message me on that. But I will pay, and we will spend probably 2 days worth of time together, and you will be well compensated for it. Jeff, you started with a laser, then jumped in with the 30 by 48 long mill, and then every bit IDC had available. So glad pine is cheap. Yeah, Jeff. And your packages keep going out the door, brother. Arthur, okay, Arthur, or no, Anuban. Your first problem is you have many things you like to do and can do that and have a hard time narrowing it down. Okay, so this is the other aspect about business that is so important. Us as creators have ADHD. We all do, right? We want to make everything under the sun. Our ideas are flying out of our head faster than we can even get to the computer. And as we're designing it, we're going, "Oh, I want to do that." We drop that design, we start working on the next thing, right? And If you want to start a business, you have to pull the reins in on yourself. Because if you are selling or trying to make things for everybody, you're making things for no one. This is an internal thing that we have to deal with, that we have to discipline ourselves on. Is because of this we're creators, right? We're creators, and we want to create so much stuff because it's so freaking cool, and it can get us, it can drive us crazy. So the idea here is play a little bit, uh, play a little bit, and just start making things. The one of the, this is how I, even though I had a lot of CNC machining background, getting into CNC routers was a new world. I had to learn a lot of things about that. I understood how CNC machines worked, and I understand cutting, but that's the end of the road, because wood is a very different animal from cutting metal. And so I had to spend my time learning, and I made all kinds of stuff. And then I started to narrow in somehow on how do I make a business, right? And then I started to pay attention. What was everybody asking all the time? And or also, where are you interested in, right? What do you like to? I'm a Jeep person, Jeep Wrangler, right? So I make a bunch of Jeep stuff, and I don't make that much Jeep stuff, but s- if you can find a niche like that that you have a passion for, then you know why they like it. You can relate to them, you can connect with them, you know the lingo, and every time you drive by them, if it's a Jeep person, we just wave because we have a Jeep. We just know each other, right? We understand what it's like to have a Jeep. So kind of focus on that, but make stuff until you are comfortable with the machine. Use that as learning, because you got to go through that process. Um, So, Simon, anyone here does aluminum CNC machining? So, I will be working with, I get this kind of request all the time, and I have not tested my bits with aluminum yet. So, I will be doing that soon, in a couple of months. Um, I may have to stock different bits to do that. I don't know yet. I got to test the bits that I have. But there, if you go ask in Facebook groups, put a post in the CNC Entrepreneurs Facebook group and ask for someone who's been working with aluminum to ask to give some feedback on it. Okay, the here is not necessarily a good way to get that information, but in the Facebook groups, it'll be better. Two Elms, one of the best books you ever read was It Starts With Why. I teach those principles to salespeople every day. Yes. Why? Um, I'm not necessarily going to dive into that one. There's a question out there, though, is called the 7 whys. And why do if you want to do something, it's why do you want to do something? And you'll get the answer from the person. You'll say, well, okay, that's a really good reason. Why do you want to do that? Those first few whys is always surface. Well, because I want to get a house, because I want to do this, I want to do that. But at the end of 7 whys, it always ends up being because I need to do such and such for this reason. Right. And that's the thing with why. We all have a why to do what we're going to do, and you have to understand the why. I'm glad you said this, because I want to come back to this. When I said goals, you need goals, but you also need to know where you're at right now. If I'm going to start this off with an analogy. So I'm in Madison and I'm going to Vancouver. I know that I have to go to the Louisville airport, get on an airplane, and I'm going to go up to fly over to I think St. Paul or St. Louis airport, and then I'm going to fly up to Vancouver, and from there I have no clue where I'm going, but I know where I'm going. Right? I know the name of the place, the hotel I'm going to. So I know how to get to the airport, and then I'm going to trust the people that are going to get me to Vancouver, and then I'm going to trust the limo driver. Well, I'm going to take a limo. I'm flying first class, by the way, giving that gift to myself. And I know where everything is going to get me there. I just can't do it by myself. But the idea is I can't know to get to Louisville airport if I don't know where I'm at here in Madison, Indiana in the first place. And if I don't have GPS, right, I have to know that I stand in this room in this town and that I'm going to have to take these certain streets, right? So, this kind of weird analogy, you have to know where you're at in order to get where you're going. So, what that means in business is you have to know where you're at in your financial mindset, meaning if you're struggling with money, you have to know that. You have to look at yourself and say, I don't like myself because I'm in this financial position and I have to do something to get money, and I'm stressing. All this bandwidth is, you have to come to terms with that part of you. You have to come to terms with all the things you don't have, and you have to say, this is where I'm at, and treat it as simply a starting point instead of as this horrible position that somehow you've gotten yourself to. It's just the starting point to get you from point no CNC business to point successful CNC business. I'm going to share another story. I had a conversation with one of our CNC brothers yesterday. You might have seen his YouTube videos. He's a younger guy. And he bootstrapped his CNC business 10 years ago. And when he was in his teens, $75. 10 years later, he's got a business that is worth over $10 million a year. CNC woodworking. He sold over $5 million in Etsy. And the kicker is he makes the same shit that you and I make. Cutting boards, piggy banks, all the basic stuff. And yet he has built a business. He has 20 employees, and he's got some mean ass equipment in a shop. The point is he started from zero, had a dream, had a vision, had the drive, wasn't going to quit, and built a business where he's not only doing well himself, but now he's helping other people by employing them. Right. And one of the things with business is it takes 40-hour work week mentality will not cut it. Right. We have to, if you want it to get up to these high levels of, if you want a business going to earn 100K a month, 100K a year, you can even go 100K a month. Right. But if you're going to get to that point, you have to have the drive beyond 40 hours, right? You can't think like we used to as employees. We have to put in the time. All right, so let's see. Hunter, fun and games. How can you join that group? Are you talking about the mastermind or the coaching mentoring group I'm going to start? I'll announce that when I get it formed. I'll probably start it in November is my guess, because I'm going to be busy with machines. And then I'll announce it, and it's going to be, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to structure it yet. Right. But I just don't know how I'm going to structure it yet. So, but that's what you do in business. You start it and then you figure out the structure. It's like the same thing with these Wednesday night talks. I'm going to start building structure into it, but I just had to start doing them, these Wednesday night lives. And I'm going to start paying attention. What do people want to know in these Wednesday night lives? And so you are the one that's telling me what you want. So that's what I'm going to learn what to deliver. So Hunter, you got your CNC last year, and it has paid for itself at least once or twice over. But you're very limited with school. The possibilities are endless with these machines. You were an inspiration in getting it, and I love the community. Thanks. You're absolutely welcome. Very limited with school. So let's talk about this. School might have you limited, right? But this is where you start these are some of the things I tell myself. It's I catch myself on thoughts like this, and I say, I'm not limited with school. I find the time. I just tell myself that. I find the time to make this work. I find the time to do that. It's almost like I'm brainwashing myself, right? Even though I'm lying to myself, who cares, right? It's just one of those things. Words can, if we listen to our words reveal us. Right. And so that's why I don't use words like limited or can't or maybe, hope, someday, if, right? I don't talk about IDC. Maybe it'll be successful. No, it's going to be the number one company, period. There's nobody that can budge that off of me. Right. So, Hobby Hands, thank you for the contribution. You said you can't tell. So I guess there's at the bottom of the YouTube thing, there's a thing where you can donate a little bit. It's got a little dollar sign on it. So I guess that's what you did. Thank you. You can't tell. I can't tell you how many businesses you started and failed at before you found one that worked for you. So don't feel bad if your first attempt does not work. Amen. 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 Right? You start one business and it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world. How many we'll use the term failures have we had in our lives, and we're still here, happy and healthy, and kicking and moving on, right? So every time we have a crash and burn, the sun's going to shine again. We just have to force ourselves to change our attitude. Justin, sometimes you have to find the right market. You make plaques with pineapples and on them and add the name of the customer, and they seem to sell well, right? So I'm assuming that you are in a place where people are willing to buy carved pineapple shapes, right? If you live near the ocean, take advantage of it. Make ocean stuff, right? Where tourist people are going to be spending money anyway. All right, let's scroll down a list here. We are past the hour, so I'm going to knock off in a couple minutes. Raul, you would like to ask me a question. Does the Longmill MK2 control box have the ability to connect an IoT relay switch? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's got a spindle connector on there, and so that would be the switch. If you wanted to use that for, it's got a couple of them. It's got one for coolant. There's one other on there too, so you can use the coolant outlet port for that as well. That way, if you have a spindle, you won't take the spindle port. So I hope that answered your question. The best way to ask that is to go to Longmill and ask them. Jack says he never ran a 16th bit. IoT switch relay, just a digital plug, right? IoT relay is it's like if your control is not built for a certain thing, like the vacuum, right? Most control boxes don't have an internal vacuum switch on it, right? So you can use the IoT. So when you hit the go button, the vacuum will turn on. When it's done, the G code will turn it back off, and that will turn the relay off, which will kill the power to the vacuum. Greg, how do you price your work? That's a question for another day now, brother, because we are at the end of the end of this hour and over the hour. Okay, so there's some talk about the IoT switch. Oh, 2Elm updated. The book was wrong. The book, it is start with Y. Okay. The books start with Y. Right now, I am going to the book Story Brand books. Reading books, even if you take a little time to read business books, that will shift your mindset. But you have to, I'm still working on that to condition myself to read more. Justin, number one, listen to what your customers want, not what you think they want. That's 100% of what business is. What do people want? The rule is solve a problem, And the bigger the problem, solve a problem and you will get paid. The bigger the problem, the more money you'll make, right? And even in CNC, there are problems. And the problem is expression, right? People need to be able to express themselves. They all have, they need to express status. There's so many things they need to express. So, yeah, what do they want? What basically is what are they doing without right now that they're looking for? And if you can find that market, right? Now you don't want to try to solve everybody's problems because then you won't be able to solve anybody's problems. You won't sell anything or very little. Time is definitely money. From Matt, you really need to get back with me on best choices of bits. Yeah, you can do that through email. So send an email, but someone else will be answering your questions for you over the next week because I'm not going to be answering email this week. So I got other people handling it. Can I make a tutorial on how to insert flower carving designs on acoustic guitars? That would be a little while. That would be a little while. Okay. No, I won't be making a video like that soon. So I do apologize. Jeff, thank you. So much talking. I do need a coffee. Actually, I do need to check on out a couple more things. No matter how many times you hit a dead end, keep going, because if there's a will, there's a way. I like to view that statement like this. If you keep going into a dead end, eventually you're going to start plowing a path past it. And when you plow that path and you're deliberate and you keep plowing that path, you get to a certain point, you turn around, you're going to see pavement all the way up to you. And there's going to be a bunch of people behind you. And those are all the customers that have come in because you've solved a problem in a new area. But you had to pay the price in order to you had to deal with the pain of building that path. Okay, well, there's a lot more comments here, but I am going to call it a night. And I am very happy. Please remember, number one, hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, it's like right down there. If you felt like you got something out of this, I can see on my screen. Look, I'll show you. Right now, there are 5 likes, and someone gave it sad. I don't know what that meant, but yeah, come on, hit the like button. Do that in Facebook too. I can see you. And with that, remember next week, starting tomorrow at 12 noon, I will not be shipping out any more orders for a week. So if you want any router bits, please get your orders in tonight, and I will take care of them in the morning. And if you send an email, they will be handled, and ones that I have to see, they will be set aside for me. So with that, I hope that you gained something out of this. The economy is not the ultimate driver to your business CNC success, which is what I started with. It all starts up here. Make the decision here, and whatever is inside of you, inside of you, you create on the outside world. So if you are negative and you're worried about money, you're always going to be tight on money on the outside. It's just not going to be there because you're stressing about it inside. All right. We create whatever's in our thought patterns. We always pay attention to thought patterns. And if you're going to business and you think you can't do it, just get around to people that have done it, listen to them, and start letting their mentality sink into you. And soon you will start to believe it that you can. So with that, my CNC brothers or sisters, I will not be doing a live next week. I will do it the week after. Until then, happy CNCing and have a great week.